So the gymnasts have performed round-off flick, round-off consecutive flicks, and they're now working to perform a whip. So I'd like to see them do round-off backflip and reach backwards onto the mat. One of the important differences with a whip and a straight somersault is the direction of the arms. So if you're performing a straight somersault, for example, you'd expect the arms to lift upwards and perhaps a little forwards to help with the elevation. But for the whip, you'd land the flick in this off-balance position and you'd think about extending the arms so the fingers reach backwards to the back wall. So that would be the trigger position. And Kaylee, if you can just jump backwards to that arch position. That's the first position of the whip. And from there, the arms are brought forwards to make a courbette snapping type action into a dish. So I'd like Kaylee, just from standing, to jump from there to that extended position and then change shape to dish. Good. And again. When a gymnast performs a whip, it's that kind of action that they need. Reach back as far as possible, full extension, and then change shape, ready for the courbette for snapping in. If we can watch the gymnast now performing round-off backflip, jump back to the mat, preparing for the whip. Good. This position from the backflip to jumping back is a really key trigger position for the whip. A common mistake with gymnasts landing from a backflip, stand here, Cameron, is that when they snap down from the flick, instead of landing in this position, they'll actually land in that position. So the arms might be there and they'll try to do a whip from here. That has to be avoided through many repetitions of this exercise. Round off backflip, off balance position with the lower back leading, and then extension backwards. If you land and make this arch too early, you can see the mistake. Yeah? One more time, girls, and feel that position. Snap in. Good. Snap in, push back. And at the end of every whip, you hit this trigger position with the back rounded. Good. So the gymnasts have performed numerous times round-off backflip to an off-balance position, swinging the arms backwards, preparing for a whip. It's useful to train a whip on the trampoline. You can look at that in the trampoline chapter, but at some point they'll need to do it on the floor. And this can be done either with support, which I'll show you, or they can do themselves to some mats at the back of the track. Round off flick, whip, and in an off-balance position, let them fall backwards onto some mats. If not, always have a coach standing in. Never do this preparation with nothing behind the gymnast. You should never finish on a whip. So I'd like the gymnast now to try round off flick and whip, and I'll catch the last part. So my support is at the end of the flick. I'm just going to stand one hand on the lower back, one hand on the legs to assist the legs if necessary. You'll have seen with Cameron there, he lifted his arms in this direction instead of the backwards one. And that's crucial for the whip, to be able to lean back and aim backwards as far back as possible. That's a good one. Well done. A little too high, so wait a little bit longer and reach backwards with your hands. Good, good. And Luke will demonstrate 2 or 3 consecutive whips. Try to look at the landing position from each whip. What you should see is that every time the gymnast's feet touches the floor, he should be in this curved egg-shaped position with the arms down. Wait until an off-balance position and then extend backwards before changing shape, dropping the arms to the same position again. That's the target. One more time. Very good, very good. Much better than last go. Direction of your arms. Good. Excellent, excellent. Common mistake with the whips is that many gymnasts will want to do a whip with their head. This is not as powerful an action as this. So the arms are crucial. And you can see with Katie, that her whip went in this direction. Better to be off balance and reaching back to the pip. One more, Luke. When the gymnast performs multiple whips like this, you'd expect to see a level height for the whips and perhaps a high whip on the last one, or a straight back ready to perform a double twist or a double back, something like that, as is the trend with modern gymnastics. Once a gymnast can perform that setup, round off flick whip, you can look at connecting whips one after the other. But the key thing is after the first whip, they have to land in this safe position with the back rounded. If they land like this, it's obvious what will happen to the second whip. Let's see how the guys get on. Round off flick, whip, whip. Good. Doesn't need to be too fast, slow and controlled. Good. Now this first whip is too early and therefore too high. Feel that off balance position. Can you just do one whip, Katie? Backwards. Better, better. Your arms got that high. Reach back a little further. One more time for Luke. And I'd stress that at this point it's not important to support too much, to support over and over again. Support initially 1 or 2 goes to help with the shape, and then when the gymnast is safe, encourage them to perform the skill by themselves. So have a go at yourselves, gymnasts, round off, flick, whip, whip, and I'll catch you at the end. I could see that the second whip was good. First whip was a little bit rushed. It's quite an art to wait for the right position. Kaylee landed the first whip already falling backwards instead of being in this trigger position. And, well done. Just one whip